Thank you everyone for joining us. The webinar today is going to cover how to file your own non-provisional patent application. This is not about how to prepare your application, but this is about how to file your application once you have it prepared. We're going to go over the website you need to go to, how to access the types of forms you need in addition to your patent application. And we're going to basically do a demonstration of how to load things up so you can proceed and file if you don't have an account with the patent office. So this is assuming two things. One, you do not have an account with the patent office, so you're just an individual filer. And this is also assuming that you're filing a non-provisional patent application. So we'll go through all those pieces. And then at the end, we'll come back and answer some questions. So hold off on any of your questions until we get to the very end. All right, I'm going to share my screen here with everyone so that you can see what we're doing and where we're starting. And you can put your questions you have in the chat or in the email format, but we'll do chat so that everyone can, so that Nicole can grab that email, those chat questions and go over them at the end with me. I'm hoping that everyone can now see my page that I'm on, which is USPTO.gov. So I went to this page and you're going to deal mainly with this tab. This is for trademarks. We're going to deal mainly with this tab. And where you're going to go is the tab called the Patent Center. So you'll click on that tab. It'll take you to the Patent Center. And the page that comes up is going to give you various different options. So you can look up an application by application serial number. You can do a new submission. You can look at an existing submission. You can file petitions. And you can even obtain a Patent Center account if you'd like to have one of those. Just to give you a quick summary of what this looks like, when you click this tab, it takes you to a page that basically says, here's how you create your own account with the USPTO. And if you read through it, it explains to you exactly how to do it. We're going to go to the electronic filing system as an unregistered user. So when I click this tab, this is what comes up. I might as well do it so you guys can see it. You go to this page and now you have basically two ways to file online. If you have an account, you would click this page and it will take you to a page where you can actually start to load up information under your own account. Most patent attorneys will have their own account. If you don't, you just click unregistered user. So I'm going to click this and it's going to take me to this page where I can now file a patent application. The way you proceed with this is you put in your name. So I'm just going to put in my first name, my last name, even though I have my own account. And then it wants an email address. So you can put in your email address over here. It'll help to have that email address there because correspondence and things that come from the patent office will go to that email address if you don't have an account. Here are your two choices. You can do a new application, or if you've already filed one and you're doing things to that application, you can pick this. So we're going to pick new application. Once you pick that, it's going to drop down and give you a bunch of options. And typically for most people, you're going to be filing a utility application and you're not going to be coming from an international application or anything like that. So you would click the utility application and then it asks you which of these utility applications you want. Accelerated exam has, it's the same as a non-provisional, except it has a lot of fees associated with it. There is track one prioritization. Again, it has fees associated with it. Non-provisional is the one we're doing right now. If you were doing a provisional, it would be this one, and you can just ignore these two because these are very specialized things that I would definitely not recommend you doing it on your own. I would definitely get an attorney involved that knows how to do it. So we're going to click non-provisional application. And everything else is ready to go. So I'm just going to hit continue and it's going to take me to the next page. This next page is going to ask me about the title of the invention. So basically I'm going to put in title of invention. And I capitalize everything. You don't have to. I use all caps there. You don't have a docket number, so there's no need to put anything there. You just leave that as it is. And now here you're putting in name of the inventor. Now, if you're filing this for somebody else, you yourself may not be the inventor. On the other hand, if you're filing it for yourself, then you definitely would be the inventor. And so you would put your name in there. In this case, I'm going to pretend like I've actually invented something for the first time in my life. So I'm going to add in my name here. No middle name for me and my last name. Now, you won't have a customer number or anything like that. You can enter a customer number in here. We have one. Or you can click here and you can provide a correspondence address. In this case, we're going to provide a correspondence address. We're going to put in our office address in Oregon and put all the information in. For you, it would be exactly what the address is that you want them to communicate with, because they will send things in physical form as well as electronically. Once you have that data in, you hit continue. And now you're going to load up all the things that are related to your application. So you basically click choose file. It takes you into your PC. So we're going to go to this folder where I've got a couple of things folded up already. And we're going to file the application. If you notice, I'm going to load all of these up one by one, because I want to demonstrate something to you, because this is going to create an error for us. This is a docx file and the formatting of the file is not correct, but I want to load that up to tell you. And then this is the category where you look at to see what it is that you're filing. So you're filing a new application. So you're going to pick this one that says application part. When you do that, this drop-down menu changes, and now you can pick from here. And of course, all your application parts will include the specification, the claims, and the abstract. So this document has all three of those things in it. So I'm going to say yes to this, and I'm going to load up all those details there. So I'm going to say the specification. Oh, see how I left all categories and everything is here. So I'm going to change this all categories to application part, which will make it easier to find the things I'm looking for. Here it is. I'm going to put the specification. It starts on page 1 and goes to, let me see what page it goes to. Because you have to be precise with this. If you get this wrong, the system is going to reject you. So I am just looking real quickly to see how many pages are in this application. So in the sample application I've created, there are a total of 11 pages. So I'm going to say the specification goes from page 1 to page 9. Then again, oh, not amendment, sorry, application part. Then I'm going to say the claims go from page 10 to page 10. I've only got one page of claims. And I added here it's giving me an error. File attached cannot be other than PDF or text. Okay, so I've got to go in and choose the correct format file. That was the error that I wanted you to see. So now I've got a PDF in here. And so if I say add document here, it didn't give me any errors. And the last page is the abstract. So I'm going to say page 11 of 11. Now, we also need to load up not just the specification, but also the supporting figures. So here I would go back into that same folder. I'm going to load up a set of figures. Let me grab one thing here. I'm going to paste it here with a slightly different name so that I have the figures ready. And you can name it. The names have to be different. If I use the same name, the system will give me an error. All right, so here's the figures. I'm going to pick this. I'm going to add that as figures. Now, if your figures are, so we want application part, and you come over here and you pick, see how it says drawing only black and white or other than black and white. If your figures are all in black and white, then you just pick that. Keep in mind that if you don't submit black and white figures that you have color, there is going to be an additional fee to submit color figures. So we're going to do black and white only. And then we have all different kinds of things that we need to load up after this. Now we have to load up an application data sheet and an oath and declaration. I do have the application data sheet pulled up as a sample for everyone to see. Nicole, can you see the new application, the new screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, very good. So this is the application data sheet. This is what you need to fill out and load up into the Patent Office website. So here it's asking for the name of the inventors. I'm just going to fill this in real quickly to get past this point. City and state of residence, you can just put, you know, whatever city you happen to live in. And the country of residence is always US. You can put in the address for the inventor, or you can put in the address where you want things mailed for the inventor. So it doesn't have to be necessarily the same thing. So I'm going to put in, you know, the address of the office that receives mail for us. And put the suite number here. And city and state. And I'm doing this in real time so you guys can see what's going on. Country, remember, is US. So there are no other information. We're not going to check anything specific. If we're using the same address, then you don't need to check this box. It can be a customer number, and this is the email address. So here you can check this box and it will switch it over, wherein you can add in the information for the correspondence. And you can do that there. And city is Tigard, state is Oregon, country is US, and postal code is, would I put in 223? Yep. You can add in a phone number, you don't have to. You can add in an email address, you don't have to, but it's good to put it there because this is the email address they will correspond with. So I can put in Jubin at Dana. And there you have the information filled in for the correspondence address. The next block is asking for the title of the invention. So I'm just going to put in title. And whatever I put in here is going to autofill over here in this section called title. You'll see it. Docket number you don't have. If you're a small entity, you check. There it is right there, title of invention. So you can't change this portion of the form. To change this portion of the form, you have to come into this section to fill it out. Application type is important. This is a utility non-provisional. So you pick non-provisional. Subject matter of the invention, you can put that in here, is utility. It's not plant, it's not design. However many figures you have, you can include here. So we can say we have 11 pages of drawings. And this one is asking a different question. This is not about how many sheets of drawings you have, because you can have one sheet of drawing with 4 different figures on it. This question is asking, what figure do you want us to use for publication? If you don't tell them one, they will pick the first figure and publish it with that. So I'm going to tell them to pick figure number 4. If you're incorporating or including any other application by reference, this would be the portion you fill out, but you don't need to worry about any of those portions. If you don't want your application published, you have to check this box. And don't worry about this error. You just have to check this box to tell them not to publish it. And there is a fee you have to pay for not publishing. Also, if you want them to publish it early, you can check this box. And again, it'll charge you a fee to file that. So we don't want any of these. We're okay with that. Again, we don't have a customer number or anything, so we can leave this blank. You just don't put anything in there. If you have a provisional that you're converting to a non-provisional, that is where you would fill this information out. So you would say the prior application, that's the provisional, is still pending. This is where you put your application number for this application. And because we don't have it, see the note, it says leave blank if you're referring to this application. What is the continuation type? You can be a continuation, or you can be claiming benefit of a provisional, which I would click there. Then you put in the provisional application number and the filing date of the provisional. In this case, we're not claiming any of these things, so I'm just going to blank these out again and leave them alone. However, if you needed to, you would be able to add that information there. Now, form priority, again, if you're coming from out of the country, you filed an application in a foreign country and you want to enter the US, this is where you would provide that information. Again, that's not our case here. And for most of you, you will not be doing that. You'll be just filing first in the US. This is authorization to opt out. You don't need to check any of these boxes because this is actually checking for the negative. Applicant does not authorize. So if you leave a blank, you're authorizing them, and you want to do that because this expedites some of the back office work, especially if you're filing in foreign countries. With regards to applicant information, sometimes the applicant is the inventor. Other times the applicant is the company that owns it. So you would have to designate one of these, boxes here. So if you're assigning it to a company, you would check that. And if you notice, all of this will change to allow you to identify a company. We're just going to say joint inventor. Okay. If it's just you and you don't want to check any of these, we can basically leave this blank. And so it automatically, the applicant automatically becomes the inventor. And they have a note here for you. It says, if the applicant is the inventor, this section should not be completed. So if you're the sole inventor and you want to be also the applicant, just leave this blank. And then here it says, if it's an organization, check here. If not, you just fill in your name here. By the way, if you check this box, all of these things will change to get organization name and address. If you uncheck it, it goes back to the original form. So we're going to leave that blank because we are the inventor and we don't want. This section is for the assignee. So if you're assigning it to the company, you would have to provide that information. Again, if the assignee is an organization, you check here. And the reason for that is it changes it to basically ask for the corporate name. Again, we're going to leave this blank. We're going to move on because, again, we're not assigning it to anyone. This is where you sign it. So how you sign things is / your name / again. You put the date. You can do the drop-down menu here and pick today's date right down at the bottom here. And then you type in your first name and your last name. And then if you have a registration number, you put it here. Most of you will not, so you leave that blank. But for me, yes, I do. So I would put that in if I was filing it for somebody else, representing them in a legal capacity. And that's it. That's your form completed. So now we can save this form in our folder and now go grab it out of our folder. So saying save the PDF as, we're going to go into a different folder. Here we go. We're going to basically select this folder and we're going to save it right here. Oh, for correspondence information, the name is required. So I guess we did not put in the name for the correspondence information. Let me see what I did wrong. Let's go down. Okay. And let me look up here real quick where we added the correspondence information. Here it is. It wants this. All right. Now we can say file, save as. Okay, so now we can switch back to where we were. And now we can say, so we've added the specification, we've added the figures. Now we can add the application data sheet. And it goes back here. So now that's the application data sheet and the file name that it has. You can give it any file name you want, as long as you do not leave spaces in the file name. You must use underscore if you want a space to appear. Again, this is application part, and the thing we pick is the one that says application data sheet. The other thing we can add is the oath and declaration. I'm going to put that up on the screen real quick here so everyone can see it. Here's the oath and declaration. You can again put in the title of the invention. By the way, if you don't file this oath and declaration with the application, they will send you a notice saying you're missing the oath and dec, and they will, charge you a fee. And then you can basically check this box to say it's attached. I am the inventor, so I'm going to sign this. Date is optional. You don't need to put that in. And then, of course, the signature by putting the forward and backslash. And then we're going to save this also into that same folder so we have access to it real quickly and easily. And we're going to call this one oath. Oops, sorry. And we're going to save that right there. Now, when I switch to the application filing process, I can now go choose that file. It says oath, I add it. And then down here, I basically say oath and declaration filed. So now I've got everything. I've got the specification, claims, and abstract. I've got the figures, which is what this one is. I've got the application data sheet, and I've got the oath and declaration. So I say upload and validate, and it will go through and look at all of the stuff that I'm uploading to see if there's any errors or any problems. If there were any errors, it would give me this red triangle. If everything is okay, it gives me the blue triangle. Now I can say continue, and I can go pay the fees. There are three basic types of fees. There is the regular undiscounted, which you can see right here. There is the small entity. So if I click that, all of these fees basically drop down significantly. And then if I say micro entity, they drop down even more. Micro entity is based on individual and income. A small entity is for companies less than 500 employees, and large entity is for a company that has more than 500. In this case, we'll just do small entity, because if you do a micro entity, you have to file documents to support that. So you have to pay the filing fee. You also have to pay the search fee, and you have to pay the examination fee. Because your application is being filed electronically, there's no real other things you need to check here. But if you're filed originally in paper, you get a certain number of sheets for free. So I suggest filing electronically. Of course, you can mail it into the patent office. That's not a problem. So there are no reasons to add any information here. This is the next question. It's asking you, how many claims do you have in your application? And that can only be up to 20 included in the price. Any more than 20, you've got to pay for each one after that. So I can basically say, I have 11 claims. Okay. And then it says how many independent claims beyond 3. You can have as many independent as you want, but you got to pay $240 for each of those. So let's say I have 4 independent claims. So I got 3 for free. I'm sorry. It's saying in excess of, so I have to put in 1. And this one, I don't have any in excess of because I only had 11. So I've got 0 and 1 here. When it does the math, I push calculate and it does things. Now there's other boxes down here that you can check. And remember, I told you they do a surcharge. If you file the oath and declare late, if you file your fees late, any of these things that happen, you would have to check this box and pay the fee. Now, if you don't check this box, they will come back later and send you a notice saying you got to pay the fees. If you have any petitions, you can click here and you can see all the various different petitions. Again, most people will not have that. And then these are the newly added fees. These again are sequence listings, and most people won't have that either. So that being said, I clicked the calculate button right now. If you look over here, all of these areas are blank. Once I hit calculate, it'll go through and calculate everything for me. Now, if you notice, because I had 1 extra, it added the 240. If I tell it I don't have any more than 3, so let's say I had 2 independent claims, then I would tell it to calculate and it will drop the fee down to what it would be without the extra fees. So now that I've got my fee calculated, I've got all the data in here, I hit continue. Again, make sure that you click the small entity, because if you don't and you do large entity, all of these fees will double. All of these fees will double. So I hit continue. Now I'm at this final page. This page is a page where I see if I've got everything. Yup, here's my specification. Yup, here's my drawings. Here's my application data sheet. And here are the other two things that we need to deal with in terms of the oath and declaration. And then this fee worksheet was automatically generated based on the previous sheet. Once I hit submit, my application gets filed and I get a serial number, and it will then take me to a page where I can pay all of those fees. Again, if you don't pay those fees at the moment you file, they will send you a notice that you didn't pay your fees, and they will charge you surcharges for paying your fees late. I'm not going to hit submit here. I'm actually just going to cancel this out. I'm not going to do any filings because I don't want to have a patent application pending and get a notice that I'm, got to do this. And I don't want to go pay fees and all of that good stuff. But anyway, that in essence is how you get to the situation where you can file your application. So at this point, I'm going to open it up for questions and see what questions people have. So again, remember, this is about filing a non-provisional application, and this is assuming that you do not have an account with the patent office. So do we have any questions?
Great. Yeah, we have a couple from a different channel, Jubin. Somebody's just wondering, pretty basic, how long does it typically take to get a response from the USPTO?
Okay, so there are two types of responses that you will get. The first response you will get is the initial examination office of the patent office reviewing your application to make sure all the pieces are there so they can give it to an examiner. So the first type of response you get will probably come within a month. Once they find that everything is there and they assign it to an examiner, that can take anywhere from 16 to 18 months to get an official action from the patent office.
Great, thank you. And Daryl, I see you're unmuted yourself. Do you have a question for us?
Oh, yeah, I was wondering on the text that you put in for each of the files that you upload. I see that you've got some upper and lowercase, and it looks like if you're going to have a gap, it needs to either be an underscore or a hyphen. Is that correct?
That's right. So you can have upper and lowercase letters in the
Yeah.
file name. You can't have special characters. So you can have numbers and letters.
Okay.
And you can use upper and lowercase. And they must be all one with no gaps. So if you want a gap to appear, then you just put an underscore or a dash. So when I put the date, instead of putting 202201, I can put 2022-01.
Oh, okay.
Great. Okay, I have one more on my side. Somebody's asking where can they find out more about micro entity status and if they qualify for it or not?
Sure. When I went, if you missed it, but let me just put it up here real quick. I'll share one more time. When let me know when you can see this, because then it'll give you a chance to see it. Can you see it, Nicole?
Yep, it's up there.
Okay. So when I went to the USPTO.gov page, let me go back to the very beginning and show you. Under the patent tab, there's a thing called forms. You see that right there? If I click that, it'll take me to where all the different patent office forms are. And if I scroll down, there's one that will be called micro entity. Yeah, it's like I thought I knew where it was, but I think maybe you can do it. But if you search, yeah, it's here. There's a form here called micro entity statement. And let me, miscellaneous form. Sorry, let me see if I can go to the miscellaneous section, because it's not a commonly used form. There we go. Well, it seems like I can't find it easily, but it's there, and I typically do a quick search and you can bring it up very quickly. But it's called the micro entity status form. You pull up that form and you fill it out. It's basically a statement that you're making that says, you know, your income is below a certain level and you haven't filed more than so many applications. And that's it. It basically allows you to get a discounted fee. And they don't do any kind of verification. It's just a statement that you're making under oath. So if you do lie on that form, there is, oh, here it is, under fees, micro entity status. So I'll just click on that so you guys can see it real quick on the screen. And here is the statement. So you basically fill it in, sign it off, and right here they identify where you need to go to look to see if your income level meets that requirement. And if you click on the form in live, it tells you right here that it's $202,563. So if your income is below that, then you're good to go to file that form.
Perfect. I just put that in the chat. Just a
Well,
link
thank
there,
you.
and I'll link it when we put upload onto YouTube.
Very good.
That's it from my end. Anybody else have any questions for us before we wrap up?
Yeah, I had another question on the uploading of the files. I noticed that it was some .docx. My experience in the past has just been the PDF only. If you were doing drawings, can you just put the drawings as JPEGs or PNGs inside of the docx and upload it that way, or?
So right now, the USPTO, it takes docx and
Yeah.
it takes PDF formats.
Yeah.
If you're going to put it in, you can't load it up as JPEGs and things like that. It's either got to be a docx or PDF. And remember, their PDF have to be of a specific type. They can't be these types of PDFs that are not searchable. So we use a program called QPDF.
Yeah.
To convert it from the unacceptable PDF format to the acceptable PDF format.
Yeah, that's been a savior for me too, because I had a problem with embedded fonts being a hassle, and they're cute PDF.
Yeah, so you can do all different kinds of screenshots and things like that. Just remember that if you're putting something in that's got color in it, you have to then, you know, pay that extra fee for submitting something in other than black and white.
So are your drawings always done in PDF, uploaded in PDF?
Yes, so the predominance of what we upload is PDF drawings.
Yeah.
And to the extent that we have to put color, then we do make it a PDF file that can be uploaded.
I see. All right, that's great. Thank you.
That'll do it. No more questions on my end.
All right, well, appreciate everyone. And we can, if you have any questions, just follow up with us. Liz, do you want to put the email in so that people have any questions, they can know where to email you?
Yes. info@services.com. Yep, and I'll put a link as well when we post it on YouTube. So
Very
perfect.
good.
All
All right,
right.
everyone. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks,
Good job.
everyone.
All right, thank you. Take care,
Appreciate it.
guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.